Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024. Tuesday, November the 12th. Well, today's episode was decent. They introduced someone new on the canvas and let someone go for a while on the canvas. Let me show my pictures. And first off, I have a headache, y'all. I almost didn't do this recap, but I said, nope, nope. Look, you can act your way through it. Anyway, anyway, if you kind of see my eye squinting, it's because it hurts. But anyway, um, a new guy, and I forgot his name already. I think it's Trey, maybe. Who cares? He's gonna be Trina's interest because she pissed off. She didn't know he's the star QB1 football player that's taken PCU to the championship, NFL possible draft pick. So he's all that in a bag of chips. Has a tutor who's obviously doing his work for him, which isn't that supposed to be illegal? But anyway, Trina accidentally bumped into him with her two sodas. She apologized and went back and sat down by Jocelyn. They're at the little swanky place that Aunt Stella introduced them to. And Jocelyn's like, you know who he is? Ooh, he's XYZ. He's this because Jocelyn is the volleyball. Was it volleyball? Volleyball. She's into sports, right? So she would know that even though they don't talk about it anymore, but she just filling Trina all in on him. And Trina's like, seem like I know that name, Trey, or Try, or whatever his name was. And it dawned on her who he was. So she gets her attitude. I said, oh, here we go. It's that I don't know who you are, and I'm gonna tell you off. And so she goes over back to the table where him and his friend are sitting, and he goes, Trey, blah blah blah. And he goes, yeah. She goes, you have some nerve. You're the same Trey that I've been partnered with that doesn't show up for any of our projects that we're paired together on. It's because of you. My grade is suffering. Oh, she let him have it. He goes, what class are you talking about? She goes, art history. And he looks at his friend. He goes, do I even have art history? And she goes, what do you mean, do you have art history? And she says, don't you even check your portal? He goes, no, I don't even have access to that. My tutor does that. I mean, I don't even know what classes I have. And then I'm thinking, cause that means you ain't going to school at all. That's definitely not approved, even though we know some get away with that, right? So anyway, she tells him something, something, and then she saunters her way back to the table. And his friend would try to interject, saying, do you know who you're talking to? She goes, yeah, the one that's making my grades suffer. I work hard for my GPA and blah, blah, blah. So then now the guy's calling his tutor saying, hey, give me my access to the PCU portal. And what classes am I even in? And so his friend said, man, why do you care what that what some girl has to say? He said, well, because of my actions, it's causing her grades to suffer. I can't do that. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a little conundrum there. You in college, ain't been to one class, don't know what classes you have, yet you feel some kind of responsibility because somebody else's grade is suffering a bit. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. There's going to be, either way, he's going to be a better match than Gio. And not because he's black. Gio had no chemistry. Gio was too young for them. They need to send him back to Brooklyn. They really do. Brooklyn needs to get him, or Lois, because Lois was the one that arranged the Philharmonic deal. She needs to come back to him and say, hey, Gio, that deal, they really want you. It's opened up again. You can't let it pass. And they just need to X-nay him. He's very unneeded in the cast, 100% unneeded. So anyway, that's who they're introducing for Trina. Now, Holly goes to see Anna. asking Anna to help her. And Anna says, wait, help you what? Oh, Lord, no. You bring trouble. She goes, well, I'm going to be leaving town tonight, you know. And she tells her how Brennan has arranged for a flight to Lisbon, saying, the WSB, she got into all this debt and they don't want to pay her debt. They had a different idea of what contract work meant you could pay on your own expenses, which really is not contract work. But anyway, so Anna just looks at her and says, oh my God. Holly shows Anna, we knew Holly always keeps a diamond. Just like I was remembering that whole Ice Princess necklace. Remember, I think Robert had it or got whatever happened to it. Holly did have a piece of that. She had one of those diamonds. She definitely did keep one. She always does. But anyway, she said that I have to leave. And Robert said, what about Sasha? She goes, Sasha has always been fine. She'll be fine. See? And the cartel, I don't want to bring danger to Port Charles like I already have. And so Anna says, yeah. And it's because of the resources here that we were able to take care of the danger. If you go off on your own, you're going to be easier to catch. And she goes, no, I'll be resourceful. Okay. She goes, I'm going to take this diamond, turn it into cash, and I'm going to do a high stakes poker game. And Hannah said, no, Holly, wait. The money you get from this diamond, don't put it on the line. Go and somewhere and invest it. Meaning, you know, she says, let me get some water because this is getting bad. So Holly was like, no, this isn't enough. But so Anna says, I know you're not here asking me to help you fence that. She says, no, I can do that myself. She says, I need you to look after Robert. And Anna looked at her. She goes, what do you mean? Because I'm leaving and I need you to look after Robert. No matter what you think, Anna, Robert is the only man I've ever truly loved, and he is the love of my life. And I need you to promise me you'll look after him. She goes, well, I don't have to promise you I will look after Robert because I will look after Robert because I love Robert too. Robert is a part of my family. And it was so interesting how Anna was tearing up. And I thought, why is she tearing up? Why is she so emotional talking to Holly about this? And then same time, Robert went to go see Diane. And Diane beat him to the punch. She pretty much let him go. She says, look, we have embarked on something wonderful. But I gave you my conditions, my terms. I will never be second best. I won't be someone's consolation love. And he goes, no, what I feel for you. She goes, no, Robert, I know what you feel for me is separate. I even understand what you feel for me is separate from what you feel for Holly. She says, but what you feel for me is not as deep as what you feel for Holly. Every time she is in the room, it's the way you look at her. She says, and you don't look at me that way, Robert. I see it. So, what I'm saying is this: I deserve somebody to look at me the way you look at Holly. And I'm not going to settle for nothing less. So, Robert, you deserve to be happy. You go, and she had tears in her eyes. You go find Holly and you be happy. And Robert is, but no, no, go. She didn't even go on out, right? So Holly does go to Robert's office because Anna told him, you know what? It's not fair, Holly, for you not to say goodbye. Go say goodbye to Robert. So she shows up. Robert's office is empty. And I thought, you're the district attorney. Why the heck is your computer on and there's a file up on it? Your computer is password protected and it should time out if you're not in use of it for what, 5 minutes? She could have read whatever that was on there. I was like, oh my goodness, he just leaves his office unlocked and his computer has a file on it. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. But Holly sat down and she wrote him a goodbye note. And she's headed to the airport and she leaves a message for Sasha on Sasha's phone because Sasha didn't pick up. But she says, I'm so happy you unblocked your mother's number. Thank you so much. And I thought, well, I guess she could tell us something. Well, how does she know it was unblocked? Because when somebody blocks you, it just rings and rings and then goes to voicemail. You don't know when somebody unblocked your number, right? But anyway, she left her this message saying, I'm leaving for your own safety. You know, I don't want to bring any more trouble to you. So, understand I'm doing this for you and I love you, Sasha. So then the pilot comes out and says, ma'am, we have to leave. We've been cleared for takeoff. I don't want to lose our turn on the runway. She goes, okay, I'm coming. I just got to make one more phone call. And he goes, okay, but we need to leave. So she's calling Robert and it's ringing. She goes, come on, Robert, please pick up, please pick up. And he picks up and she goes, oh, Robert, thank you for picking up. Did you get my note? And he says, yeah. She goes, I'm sorry, Robert. I have to go. And I just wanted to definitely say, I'm so happy that I could say goodbye to you in person. And he goes, turn around. So she turns around and he's behind her. Oh, Robert. And so then they're talking. She goes, oh, you came to say goodbye to me. And he goes, uh, you understand why I have to go? He goes, no, I'm not here to say goodbye to you. She goes, but Robert, I can't stay. And I'm thinking, and the plane should be taking off without you, right? He says, I understand that. I'm coming with you. No, she says, how did you know to find me here? He goes, I called Jack Brennan. He owes me a favor. And I'm thinking, no, he don't. But Jack seems to be sharing everything with Robert, right? So he goes, he told me, what he had arranged. Jack probably even told the pilot, stand by, right? Hang, wait till Scorpio get on the plane. And so he says, I'm going with you. And she says, but what about Sasha? She needs you. And he goes, there have been so much time has passed, too many mistakes have been made. And he's saying, and I'm not going to miss this. And I'm thinking, you weren't even talking about Sasha. So much time has passed, too many mistakes have been made. And we belong there. I'm thinking, it's almost like she didn't say Sasha. And I thought, doggone it, what? You found out you have a daughter 5 minutes ago, but guess what? She grown, right? But how does that affect her? My mother and my newfound father just up, adios. Well, that ought to hurt her feelings, right? So Robert, and so he goes, come on, we got a plane to catch. And she goes, we're really doing this. They kiss. This is going to be such an adventure. But Robert, I've got people after me. I'm in danger. He goes, what else is new, Holly? So they go walking to the plane. And for some reason, they do it in this black and white, kind of put a little fog in there, like a Casablanca thing. A here's looking at you, kid thing going on. And as he's walking away with her, I thought, is he leaving the show? He has to be, right? At least for now. But guess what? To me, the actor that plays him, he's 78 years old, which is not, we've got 78-year-old actors, we've got 90-year-old actors. But to me, he hasn't sounded healthy and he hasn't looked healthy. Maybe this is his exit. Robert Scorpio, his character is on and off the canvas, has been for years. So I guess he's off the canvas again now. open it. And he goes, but we'll be back. And I'm thinking, no, you'll be back. She won't be back. So maybe he's going to take a break for 6 months or so. Who knows? But wow. Okay. What I want to know is that was a very needless storyline for he to be Sasha's father. And now he's gone. I could see, okay, Holly's her mother, so what? Right? But to make her Robert's daughter, and now Robert's gone, it's not like she's gonna glom on to Cody's new father and family just because they I don't know. I don't know. That was disappointing to me. Everybody, that was definitely disappointing. Um, Elizabeth was talking to Jason at that little dive bar and told him that he should move into the Q's mansion. And he looked at her. What? She goes, "There's room. The kids are there." He says, she says, um, because he goes, I don't know how to. I guess I have to find a place for me and Danny. I really don't know what's gonna happen. What I'm gonna do. She goes, well, here's the thing. Whatever you decide to do, Danny is your son, Jason. And don't let anyone make you give him up. No one. Danny's your son. And Jason just looked at her because he goes, I'm sure, the kids probably all want to be together. And she goes, and probably they do. She said, you move into the Quartermains. To me, that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen because that's the only alternative. So Jason goes to the house and Danny was in the kitchen. He made himself a sandwich and he was talking to Jason. And he told Jason that Rocco overheard Alexis talking to probably Olivia. And Alexis was saying, he goes, Grandmama Alexis wants me and Scout to live with her. He said, but he says, but I, whenever mom, he goes, this place feels like a second home to us. My asthma's starting to act up. Second home to us. Mom would always bring, me and Scout here. He says, so I would want to stay together with Rocco, Scout here. He says, and if that's not possible, he says, I don't, he goes, say it, Danny. Tell me what's on your mind. He goes, if that's not possible, then I would want to live with you. And Jason just looked at him. And he was saying, your sister really needs you. And you're a good big brother. And he said something, goes, Mom used to always say that too. He said, so no, you need to be together. He says, we adults, I'm going to talk to everybody, to Drew, to Dante, and even Grandma Lexi. He goes, we're going to all talk and we will decide. He says, but what you want matters. And I promise you, I'm going to, make sure you understand the decision and is in on it. And he goes, okay, Jason should move there. He'd be in and out, just like he always was when he was there. It's nothing new. So that was good that he at least is thinking about it. And no, see, even Danny is like, Grandma Alexis' place wasn't home. So now Elizabeth also runs into Lucky at the dive bar. Well, he called her and she told him where he was. And he tells her, I'm leaving. Lulu doesn't need me anymore. They got she's stable bill of health. And he says, so I'm going back to Africa. And Elizabeth looked at him and he goes, Elizabeth, I was only here to help Lulu. I was never going to stay in Port Charles. So she gets up. She goes, well, you know what? You've made up your own decision. You do whatever you're going to do. And she gets her person, and she gets up to leave. And he goes, no, Elizabeth, sit back down. No, no. So she sits down and he's saying what he's going to say. She goes, you know what, Lucky? You have nothing waiting for you in Africa. You have a wonderful son here that looks for any type of praise because he never got that from his father all his life. Sam is dead and she did everything for her children. She loved them. She would wish she could have one more day, one more hour with her kids. And you can't wait to get away from your wonderful son. She goes, well, no, you don't get any kind of understanding from me, Lucky. I am not going to make this better for you. And she gets up and she walks out. And I thought, good for you, Elizabeth. Good for you. How much time has he spent with Aiden versus that one talk he had with him? But you know what? Whatever, Lucky. And then Laura spent some time with Lulu. I kind of thought Lulu was going to squeeze her hand. I really did. The way they kept showing the camera on Lulu's hand while Laura was squeezing it. But it's coming. It's definitely coming. All right, everybody. Look, Comment Corner was great. I was reading the comments yesterday. You all did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. Keep going back and forth with each other. We're updating Susan Moore as far as Jason's mother's name. I read that, but somebody said, oh, it was Susan Moore was with Edward. Well, Edward was a philanderer, but Alan Quartermain, Alan was Jason's father. It was an affair Alan had with Susan, not his dad. So anyway, everybody, look, I took some Tylenol. Hopefully it'll kick in, but I'm going to stop talking because it makes my head hurt worse. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.